If you're one of those people who thinks that the newcomer Chinese brands don't have what it takes to shake up the Australian market, well, this might just prove you wrong. It's the XPeng G6 long range. It's a lot like a Tesla Model Y, only it's cheaper and in some ways much better. Stick around and I'll show you why. The big question, of course, is just what the hell is an XPeng? Well, it was launched in China about 10 years ago, that only made its way to Australia late last year, and it was founded by some former car company execs and tech tycoons, one of whom was telecommunications billionaire Xiaoping, which is where that XPeng name comes from. Now this is the G6, it's available in two trim levels, the standard range or the long range. This is the long range. The difference, of course, being the battery size, but we'll come back to all of that in just a moment. As of right now, the new Tesla Model Y can be ordered for $63,400 as the standard or $73,400 for the long range, which makes this XPeng a whole heap cheaper. Outside, you get LED lighting all around, including the DRLs, a massive glass roof, auto door handles, an auto opening boot, as well as big 20-inch wheels wrapped in Michelin rubber. You also get some cool high-tech features accessed through the XPeng app, like the ability to drive your car out of tight parking spots remotely. Inside, there's leather-like seats that are heated, a dual-zone climate control system, a massive 18-speaker sound system with speakers in the headrest, wireless charging, and two very handy screens. A 14.96-inch central screen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and a 10.2-inch digital dashboard. There's also more active safety stuff than you can shake a crash test at, but I promise we'll come back to that later. There's more than a little Tesla Model Y in the XPeng's exterior design, with both sharing that kind of soft-edge, swept-back SUV aesthetic. However, I think the G6 has just enough exterior detailing to make it look a little bit more interesting than the Tesla. And to be honest, I really don't mind the way it looks, especially riding on these big alloys. So inside you'll find a spacious, stylish space that feels pretty well put together. Now I especially love this gigantic center screen. It is super responsive, super fast, and they've kind of glued the key functions to the bottom here, things like aircon controls, things like that, so you don't have to go digging through the menus. That said, it's still not as good as actually just having some buttons, especially if you use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which tends to take over the entire screen. Now what I do think is a massive step forward above cars like the Tesla Model Y is this driver's information screen. Now you can scream minimalist aesthetic all you want, but I'm telling you, being able to see your speed and other key information in front of you when you're driving is just the way that it should be done. There are some things I hate though. One of them is this kind of stalk style gear selector. Obviously you use it to activate drive or reverse, pull it down again to get cruise control, pull it down twice to activate your autonomous driving features. I gotta say, it just feels a bit old school, a bit fiddly, and a bit annoying. I also don't like the fact that you have to use these steering wheel buttons to control things like your aircon fan vents. And it is a suitable workaround, I suppose, but really it would be better with buttons. Just bring back the damn buttons.
The XPeng G6 fits snugly into the electric mid-size SUV space.
And it does tick a lot of those boxes, especially here in the boot, which opens to reveal a 571 litre storage space, but no spare wheel. Instead, you get a tyre repair kit under the floor cover here. And if you drop the rear seats, you'll find 1,374 litres of space. But the XPeng's real party trick occurs in the back seat, so let's go check that out. I actually have another similar sized SUV on test at the moment, only that one's powered by an ICE engine. And I can tell you that when we have a baby seat in it, it basically touches the passenger seat in front. In fact, we often have to move it forward to squeeze it in. That is not a problem in this car. I feel like I could fly a kite in the space between them. It's true for passengers too. I'm sitting behind my own 175 centimetre driving position. As you can see, I've got miles of knee room, miles of headroom, and because there's no bulky tunnel, you get 3 passengers in here too relatively easily. If you choose not to, however, you can deploy the center armrest, which is also home to your twin cup holders. There's twin USB ports as well as air vents for the backseat riders. The G6 is a rear-wheel drive affair with a single electric motor housed at the rear axle, producing 210 kilowatts and 440 newton meters. And no, they don't sound like huge numbers, especially given the 2-ton plus curb weight of the G6, but actually it gets up and moving just fine. Now the official 0 to 100 time is 6.2 seconds, while the top speed is 200 kilometers an hour. Now this G6 long range gets an 87.5 kilowatt hour battery compared to 66 kilowatt hours in the standard range, and that means a driving range of 570 kilometers claimed. Now when it comes time to plug in, this is set up for 280 kilowatt DC fast charging, which should mean going from 10 to 80% charge in around 20 minutes. Of course, it will take a lot longer at home. You're looking at an overnight charge if you just use a standard wall box. Now the official energy consumption is 17.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, but I did a fair few Ks in this yesterday, and my number was more like 14 kilowatt hours, which to be honest, I was pretty happy with. So behind the wheel of the G6, the surprises kind of continue, and I mean pleasant surprises. We have done a lot of Ks in this. Yesterday I took it for about 150 Ks out of Sydney, down towards the south coast and back, some suburban driving, some freeway driving, the whole kit and caboodle. And honestly, it really impressed on all road surfaces. Now, you do need to know what you're getting yourself in for. It is not the most dynamic feeling SUV in the world, nor is it the fastest. It's not one of those EVs which you put your foot down, you just blast into the future. It's far more sedate than that, really, although it doesn't feel underpowered either. But it is really pretty comfortable in all conditions. The road noise is fairly non-existent, even at speed. Overtaking at 110, 120 kilometers an hour is no problem. Feels just like an easy, breezy electric SUV to live with. And because of those levels of refinement, it feels kind of premium too. So I guess what it really boils down to is what you're looking for from your electric SUV. And the truth is there aren't that many out there that are truly, truly sporty. If you have a lot of money, deep pockets, something like the Porsche Macan electric or even the Hyundai Ioniq 5N might tick those boxes for you, but the rest of them are kind of really placid in the way they go about their business, although some are faster than others. As I said, this isn't that fast, but it is just a comfortable family hauler. I don't think all SUVs need to be inherently sporty, do they? This is just big, spacious, lots of back seat room, lots of boot room, and in this long range version, a really solid driving range as well. So in that sense, I guess it's probably the most accurate replica of an ICE-powered mid-size SUV. If you think about it, not a lot of those are inherently sporty either. Things like a Toyota RAV4 hybrid, even a Mazda CX-5 doesn't feel that aggressive, and neither does this. But it does tick all the other boxes. It's spacious, it's comfortable, there's lots of backseat room and lots of boot room. Only this one has an electric motor and a fairly sizable driving range. So I guess what it kind of boils down to is it feels like a car that really outdrives its price point. If this had a German badge on it, you'd be staring down the barrel of 6 figures. If this had a Tesla badge on it, we know it's about 10 grand more expensive. But this kind of feels like it does what they do, and in some cases it does it better at a much lower price point. It is a risk, I suppose, taking a chance on a new Chinese brand, but this doesn't do really anything that's going to turn away buyers. It doesn't really even feel like a car where you need to drill down on the details, but I'll do that for you. The steering isn't the most direct in the world. In fact, it feels a little bit vague, but as a result, it never feels overly darty either, and it is fairly confidence-inspiring in the way it goes about its business. The ride too, again, it doesn't feel overly sporty. However, it never feels uncomfortable either, and we've had it on all sorts of road surfaces to date. And the benefit of those Michelin tires, I think, is helping reduce some of that tire noise, some of that road noise when you're driving, which makes the cabin feel like a fairly refined space as well. So I guess it never does anything that's kind of outstanding, best in class, perfect. However, it doesn't do anything annoying either, and that includes the safety systems. It is just a simple, cruisy, everyday EV. I've got to tell you, it's one that I quite like. The G6 is absolutely flooded with active safety stuff, but pretty uniquely for a Chinese EV, none of it is overly annoying, save the fairly incessant freeway chiming when it warns you you're straying from your lane, even when you're not. I'm sure you can turn that off, but it was annoying. The regular warranty offering is 5 years or 120,000 kilometers, with the battery covered for 8 years or 160,000 kilometers. Do keep an eye out for deals though. Like right now, XPeng is offering a 10-year warranty on both, for example. Now, service intervals are 12 months or 20,000 kilometers. The cheapest individual service is $238, but over 5 years, the total cost is $2,064, averaging out to more like $410 per year. You never know quite what to expect when you're jumping in a new car from a brand new brand, but I've got to say, this G6 is a seriously solid offering. And given the price, the equipment, and the fact that you might even be able to nab a 10-year warranty, it's got to be giving Tesla Model Y customers something to think about, right? Now remember, CarsGuide.com.au is a nirvana of new car news and reviews. I can pretty much guarantee we've driven your next new car, so be sure to jump on there and check them out.